So this is the main work in my show called A Thin Place, and the title of this piece is Heartwood, and it's taken from a large section of ash tree from the Crown, and it's been stripped of bark and hollowed, and through that hollowing process I was able to save the core of this section of timber, which I'm kind of now looking at and has sort of developed into becoming the heart of the tree, this heart that has been saved from that physical process of hollowing. And through the hollowing process, the crown of the tree has become quite fragile and delicate, and it's a nice push and pull between something that once was sort of sturdy and solid, quite monumental, and through working it's now become fragile and quite delicate, and it has a sort of a sense of needing to be pinned back together. I've had to go back in and inlay over cracks and splits, which kind of become stitches over wounds, and that solidness, that solid mass of the heart of the tree that is earthbound kind of acts like a tether to the kind of skybound work that's suspended, and through that sort of tethering you get this kind of in-between place, this horizon line, which I suppose is what I'm seeing as this thin place, this idea, my interpretation of a thin place where the boundaries are said to blur between earth and sky, and it's those kind of that in-between is what I want to look at within this work and kind of see what those possibilities are, because for me that in-between space, that thin place, is a kind of, it's a third material that's created, it's a third place, this kind of this void, this hollow that is the interior of this piece of sculpture. It's almost tangible, it's become kind of material, and that I think has been something that I've searched for in my work for a very long time, and I think I'm still searching for it because I can't quite ever put my finger on it, which is maybe what A Thin Place is all about. It's that kind of transience, it's that place that doesn't quite materialise into something solid, and I think that's what these two works coming together to make one piece of sculpture, that's what they're doing. They're kind of creating this in-between place, which I suppose I'm searching for, and I guess I'm kind of asking an audience to question and to look at and to experience. It's an incredibly physical process, bodily process that goes into the creation of these works, and I think I'm not surprised now that I'm drawn to these sections of timber that have a very bodily feel, the kind of the marks and scars, the insects, the beetles that have tracked to kind of leaving this sort of like tattooed skin-like appearance, the wrinkles, the sinews, the muscles, the kind of flesh, that sort of visceral quality to the material. It's kind of uncomfortable, it's unsettling, it's there's a peculiarness to it, but they're always in relation to my own body, I think, in terms of scale, working things, being at the limit of what I can physically work and lift and move on my own, all goes into the creation of these works. And I think as a material and then as an object, as a sculpture, as a work, they hold that kind of energy. There's something there's a tension that is then created, that is then held when that work is then completed, when it goes on display, when it leaves the studio. I think it takes something of me, of my energy, of my kind of process with it, and I think that adds to this idea of that thin place, that kind of, that strange in between, that kind of something that's sort of nothing made something, that kind of void made material, made solid. I think that energy is transferred, and maybe that's what is resonating. There's a kind of resonance that happens on experiencing these works that goes for me, goes beyond just the kind of material process of creating sculpture.